Welcome back to Akshayadhari, dear friends. I'm Devraj. Bye, Akshayadhari. So, I hope you guys are doing great and learning great and working towards to improve our communication in English. So, before going to start today's session, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like and comment. If you like the video, please share with your friends so that I can bring more videos related to communication, healthcare, education, and related to competitive exams. Yes, I hope this the previous videos will be are useful for you guys, and please watch my previous videos to make yourself better in communication. So let's start today's newspaper reading. Today is 30th June, the end of the June month and last day of the June month. So let's start the newspaper reading. Yes, let's start the today newspaper reading. There is a front page, the Hindu. Panchayats to be UPI enabled from August 15. Wow. Next opposition meet in Bengaluru on July 30. Unrest spreads over police shooting of teen. Being a Muslim in the new India, it involves an avalanche of hate on social media and in real life. Positive decade leads England's strong replay. Tamil Nadu governor dismisses minister, backtracks later. RN Ravi communicates to CM's office that his order on Senthil Balaji has been put on hold with immediate effect. Stalin had earlier said that governor didn't have authority to dismiss minister. There are reasonable apprehensions that a continuation of Thiru P. Senthil Balaji in the Council of Ministers will adversely impact the due process of law, including fair investigation that may eventually lead to breakdown of the constitutional machinery in the state. BJP keen to crack the whip to quell mudslinging. Rahul plies to riot hit Manipur district after police block road. Gunfight between rioters, security forces kills two. Sport in fever among children. DKH may discuss Telangana Congress poll strategy. Lokaयुक्त police arrest KR from Tahsildar. We have found a large tranche of documents of Benami properties during raids on his premises, a probe into which needs custodial interrogation. Ask for permission before giving TC to students. Minority Welfare Department tells principals. Shola Forest in Shakleshpur face a threat as department's biker over its status. Around 611 acres of the Shola Forest have been marked as encroachments, mostly by coffee estates, residential homes, and 20 resorts. Spot in fever, respiratory tract inspections among children. Doctors are attributing to it inclement weather and reopening of schools. Bangalore urban DC facing charges of violating High Court order over issuance of card. KSRTC bus accident 2 in ICU. Police to open rowdy sheet against cow vigilante. Puneet was asked to respond to the notice within 15 days, failing which penal action would be initiated against him. Police recover 52.1 lakh worth ganja. Ask permission before giving TC to students. Man held on rape charge. A construction laborer has been arrested for allegedly trying to rape women with mental disabilities at Annapurneshwari Nagar. SSC supplementary exam results today. Bishop Cotton organizes St. Peter's Tide Even Song. Ask Police Commissioner Dayananda a question today. He will answer all your questions ranging from the city's traffic to rising cyber frauds. Two startups supported by Camp Corner Glory. Furniture Fair. Using tech in fight against neurodegenerative diseases. Researchers wanted to utilize good quality microphones and camera available in smartphones to offer highly cost effective, easy to use tool that will help with the first layer of screening. Hampi Utsav participants climb checks issued by department bounced. Decision to discontinue agricultural diploma comes under fire from foreign farmers groups. Varsity resources say the government asked them to discontinue it as it was in line with NEP, while others cited financial constraints. One of the folk artists has filed a check bounce case against the Department of Kannada and Culture. A fight for the right to protest in Bangalore. Civil society groups call for orders restricting protest to freedom walk to be rolled for back. Earlier this year, when the government didn't give us given an audience despite thousands of men sitting and sleeping on the streets, we had to issue a threat to Girao at the chief minister's residence to finally get some response from them. This itself shows the ineffectiveness of freedom for as a venue of protest via vice versa others. Meet the movers and shakers. Dancers from Bengaluru talk about the rise of street dancing in India. Portraits of an artist. Band Badami, a retrospective exhibition of the late JMS Manu's work offers a peek into the artist's diverse, expansive repertoire. BJP's woes multiply after full debacle as mud slinging brings to open lack of cohesion in unit. BJP central leadership has maintained a studied silence on the entire drama unfolding in the Karnataka unit. Shoka's notice to Ronakacharya. Lecture by Vivek Debra in Bangalore today. Is PCB told to investigate pollution of Krishna River? CM urged to implement Advocate Protection Act. Shivakumar to meet Congress High Command, likely to discuss strategy for Telangana fools. Ministry of Civil Aviation clears flight services from Shivamoga to Delhi, Chennai, Hyderabad. India Indigo to launch flight operations at Shivamoga Airport on August 11. Kerala Christian body seeks president's rule in Rio Tan, Manipur. Center criticized for failing to bring order. Metropolitan Archbishop of the Thalassery Archdiocese likens the violence to the 2002 Gujarat riots. Elephant electrocuted in Nagarhole Tiger Reserve. Shivdas Meena is the next US anchor. Jiwal is DGP. BTS alumnus donates 1 million for semiconductor research. DITS. Indian Railways to get a tamper-proof signaling system. Kerala in a fix over runway expansion at two key airports. PM seeks to use UCC to incite communal violence and capture power, says Stalin. Kerala to promote monsoon tourism through aggressive campaigns in Gulf airports. Kerala will have a cool weather in July and August as opposed to scorching heat in West Asia. Artist turned 700-year-old take log into sculpture. Between two books, a revelatory social history. Let's talk about read about the editorial page. So this is a little important, very important for the point of examination, competitive exams. So between two books, say revelatory social history. Academic studies of social change in India have, by and large, followed the conceptual guidance of modernization theory. It focuses on the deeper effects of technological change, social and political movements, and increase in participation in the modern economy and education. Indian sociology produced several classics that continue to provide useful insights to university level students. A parallel documentation of social change was attempted by journalists who traveled and gleaned from their brief interactions with ordinary people how the bigger changes in economy, technology, and politics were affecting their lives. Journalism is itself a major part of modern India's history. Though journalists are now facing new kinds of difficulties in practicing their profession, they bring in the kind of news about life that academic inquiry cannot afford to offer due to its methodological constraints. Tracking change in rural and urban India. In the mapping of social change over the last half century, two books written by journalists stand out. One is Kushum Nair Blossoms in the Dust, the Human Factor in Indian Development. First published in 1965, it is based on Nair's journey to villages across 14 states. The second book, Dreamers, How Young Indians Are Changing Their World by Snigdha Poonam, documents her journey and stay in a provincial towns in 8 North Indian states. It was published in 2018. Read together. The two books shows many aspects of socio-cultural change in rural and urban India that we may not notice living our daily lives in the third decades of the 21st century. When Kusum Nair was writing her book, the big question facing political leaders and intellectuals who was how to deal with the rural poverty. The memory of Gandhi's idea and his vision of India as a society that cared for its rural civilization was still fresh. Now I wanted to find out how villagers in different parts of the country were responding to the state's efforts to help them through economic and social planning. How to change beliefs and entrenched norms of behavior was perceived as a major challenge. Programs of community development were focused on improving people's access to new knowledge about sanitation and health, irrigation and manure. The Green Revolution was a decade away. The emphasis was on using available resources and information in the best possible way. Naya was looking for signs of change in old attitudes and ways of living. She found such evidence in every region but in varying amounts. In some parts, there were blossoms in the dust. In others, there was stirring, but also a lot of inherent resistance that looked like inertia. She drew a gently dynamic portrait of a highly diverse nation, literally at a turning point, that is, before India had to face China's aggression. When we read Naya's books today, it evokes a nostalgia for an era when the human elephant took precedence and the dream of development. Complications and complications arose before long. The new landscape, the social landscape that Snigdha Poonam draws in her book is complex in every sense. As you start reading an account of a slow, patient journey through the provincial towns of northern India, you are struck by the paradoxical reality of the hang from non-elite strata. They feel let down but are ready to fight for themselves. They are unsatisfied, unscrupulous, unstoppable, says the author. These three words capture the complex makeup of the entrepreneurial spirit they display in every sphere. Their pursuit of wealth and power recognition are no impediments, social or moral. They see as copious examples of the advantage that this reckless approach to success offers. With a little basis for moral choices, they'll believe that whatever works is the best. So any and every enterprise looks fine. Coaching, fixing deal, and pushing fly files are always to create a livelihood. But the magic of all call centers beats everything. It is demanding work, though not exactly social. Manufacturing spam, disinformation, dissonance, and swindling are all part of the game of success, faced with circumstances that any observer would declare impossible. The youth that snigdma Poonam meets are forging ahead with no inhibitions. Some opt for politics and face tragic failure despite total commitment to democratic vision. Unlike Kusum Noya, Snigdha, yes, Snigdha Poonam maintains firm impartiality throughout her long account. Despite her openness and neutrality, she cannot help giving her verdict. At the end of her work, she says that many of the young people she met do not even see a sharp dichotomy between right and wrong. Decoding the Change. Read together. The two books convey the broad current of an accusative culture that has mercilessly rocked old beliefs and values. Several eminent sociologists have tried to capture India's tryst with modernity, tracing the multiple paths along with social changes as occurred. Many of these portraits dwell on value shifts, but few discuss the loss of values. Perhaps one can appreciate why the subject does not receive much attention. Change in values is a part of broader economic and political processes. It also reflects demographic shifts. Most importantly, the growth of urbanized communities, often at the expense of rural communities. The rural urban distinction is not easy to maintain or explain, and our technical differences show little or other than an official purpose. What we learn from Kusum Naya's epic journey through rural India in the 20th century is that village was the locus of belonging. It served as a living and for many an inspiring memory. Going through Snigdha Poonam's reflective the Maya of meetings with provincial youth years ago, one is struck by the erosion of an ethical frame that belonging to a village might give. Some of the young men and women she meets are based in bigger sized villages, but their social constructions are of a chaotic, competitive world. She is right in making you us realize that our interlocutors know what they have to deal with in their life. The subtext of a lengthy travelogue is inescapable. Economic and social change have missed the centrality of meaningful education and work. If growth of the market and infrastructure are unaccompanied by an educated imagination and the prospect of employment, the social ethos cannot sustain the norms and morality it once prized. It's written by a former director of National Council of Educational Research and Training. Let's go to the next editorial page. Spiraling food prices. Policymakers must guard against inflation to ensure sustainable growth. Beleaguered being a Muslim in the new India. Let's read this editorial page. To be a Muslim is to be voiceless in the new India. Almost all mainstream political parties refrain from using the word Muslim, often preferring the euphemism of Alpsankyak or the minorities. Alpsankyak are the minorities. The ruling Bharatiya Janata Party fares worse. The party, which abolished the Maulana Azad Fellowship for the minorities, stands in denial of discrimination. Unsurprisingly, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi claimed all was fair and fine in his media interaction at the White House on June 23. Responding to a question on the steps his government was taking to improve the rights of Muslims and other minorities in the country, he said, "We have always proved that democracy can deliver. And when I say deliver, this is regardless of caste, creed, religion, gender. There is absolutely no space for discrimination. This denial came on the heels of former United States President Barack Obama expressing concern about the protection of the Muslim minority in Hindu majority India in a television interview. Mr. Modi sidestepped the systematic diminution in Muslim representation in all spheres of life. In the Karnataka Assembly elections in May, the BJP did not put up a single Muslim candidate in a house of 224 members of the Legislative Assembly. It was the same in Gujarat and before that in Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, and Bihar. At the center, for the first time since independence, there is not a single Muslim minister. The BJP is the first ruling party without a single Muslim parliamentarian. Of course, as Mr. Modi claims, it is not due to any discrimination. Pluralism is just talk. The denial of representation to Muslims is not limited to the BJP. There is not a single Muslim chief minister in India today, despite there being non BJP governments in Himachal Pradesh. Punjab, Delhi, Rajasthan, Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Odisha, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and now Karnataka. The parties talk of pluralism but practice majoritarianism. A little before the 2019 Lok Sabha election, when the seasoned then Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad complained of not being wanted as a campaigner by most candidates, it seemed to be the lament of a man yearning for his glory days. Subsequent events have proved him right, with his self-professed secular parties keen not to be keen aligning with either Muslim voters or leaders. They want their vote, but hush hush and furtively, like the Samajwadi Party Akhilesh Yadav did during the elections in Uttar Pradesh in 2022, where he minimized the appearance of Muslim leaders on stage. This deliberate invisibilization of Muslim is multi-pronged. Political parties that were vociferous in the condemnation of the lynching of Muhammad Akhlaq in Dadri, Uttar Pradesh, in September 2015 have now lapsed into silent mode when there are reports of the lynching of Muslim men from Bihar, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, and Maharashtra. What is being ignored is the fact that over 97% of the cases of lynching since independence have been reported after 2014, with an overwhelming majority of victims being Muslims. Yet, no leader of any political hue has deemed it wise to visit the families of the dead. The absence of political noise over constant killings compelled the Jamiat Ulama High Hind to lead a delegation of Muslim leaders to meet the Union Home Minister in April. The minister assured them of action within 72 hours if any specific instance was brought to his notice. The words rang hollow. Within hours of his assurance, cases of lynching were reported from Jharkhand and Haryana. The news was either ignored by the media or confined to a few sentences on the inside pages. The lynching of Muslims was reduced to a weather bulletin in the New India, pale and predictable. Argued not long ago for refusing to say Vande Mataram or Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Muslims are now forced to shout Jai Shri Ram, the new slogan of the purveyors of hatred. Not long ago, some right-wing goons issued a warning at Jantar Mantar, barely a kilometer from Parliament. जब मुल्ले खाते जाएंगे जय श्री हिम छल्ले चिल्लाएंगे. When Muslims would be slaughtered, they would cry Jai Shri Ram. When one of the participants surrendered to the police later, he did so sporting garlands while perched atop the shoulder of his supporters even as the policeman watched. He could have been an Olympic medal winner. Rise in hate speech. Despite the Supreme Court of India's order to the state governments to take suo action, there has been an exponential rise in hate speech targeted in the Arti community, while the likes of Yati Nashinganand and Kalicharan Maharaja have slandered not only Muslims but also the appropriate with impunity. We have had a member of Parliament Pragya Singh Thakur urging Hindus to keep their knives sharpened at home. She has been at it for a long time. Recently, she attended the screening of the Kerala story to tell the audiences that they are to 32%. And if they become 40%, your daughters will not be safe. Similar bile was on display when the Kashmir files released. There was a time when one looked forward to new cinematic offerings every Friday. Now many venture comes wrapped with shades of Islamophobia. Gone are the days of Vekhand Khan, Chacha, or the pluralist Amar Akbar Anthony. The Kerala story is the sign of the times. To be a Muslim today is a wake up to a daily advalantia feed on social media, political circles, and in real life. The results at the very being of Muslims continue unabated. When filmmakers are producing their next file of prejudice, politicians rename our old towns to erase any association with Muslim rulers or Islam. Behind the high-profile places such as Mughal Sarai and Aurangabad, we have had Islam Nagar and Ahmednagar being renamed in Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, respectively. There is a demand to rename Muhammad Nagar in Delhi to Islam Muhammad Ahmad Al Simhan anomaly in today India today. More wounds. It is the same with attacks on food, clothing, and even sources of earning. During Navratri, a shopkeeper cannot sell meat nor can a consumer procure it in Delhi, Haryana, or Uttar Pradesh, and never mind if Navratri coincides with Ramjan, one faith is deemed superior to another. If in Karnataka girls were banned from wearing the Haji hijab to school, in Delhi we had a member of parliament calling for the economic boycott of Muslims. He was playing catch up. A couple of years earlier, a party colleague had hit the political jackpot by insinuating insinuating that an entire community was full of traitors who deserved to be shot. Remember the hateful days Gadhar and Co. The young member of parliament understood what his boss wanted and dished it out with relish. After this, the annual attacks on mosques during Ram Navami and Hanuman Jayanti, and we have a picture of a beleaguered Muslim community wounded, browbeaten, and forsaken, the marginalized in the New Delhi, New India. Muslims have to wake up to a daily avalanche of hate on social media, political circles, and on real life. This is about the Muslims' flight which was happened. Let's go to the next page. As the Bhadralok culture in Bengal faded, we have become a market society where everything is transactional. Therefore, people with more money power obviously overwhelm the Bengali Bhadralok because the Bengali Bhadralok never had money to begin with. Off the cuff, it is often the unscripted press conferences that make for more interesting copy. A life in exile for women candidates in violence, smart Bengal pools, facing intimidation and death threats while filing nomination papers for the Panchayat election. Several women candidates representing opposition parties have been forced to leave their homes and seek refuge in temporary shelters. German and Australian envoys call on Congress chief. Ravi puts dismissed of Manipur Hanul. Next meeting of opposition parties in Bangalore on July 13-14 Poa. Russian officials briefs inertia and revolt hold talks on issues in ties. Police blocks Rahul convoy in Manipur. India Philippines to explore scope of giant seals and patrols to boost defense partnership. Gunfire erupts after armed rioters open fire at Manipur village, 2 killed. Several persons injured. Troops deployed to prevent escalation of situation, says officials. Deaths come after a 16-day lull in Manipur. Defense source says attack was premeditated as they had received inputs of some persons planning violence. T.S. Singh Dio's elevation is a message to Bagel to take everyone along. Manipur conflict rakes up issues between two Naga extremist groups. Rahul's visit to Manipur shows his insensitivity to prevailing conditions. BJP. No public Eid namaz in Purula following VHP call to avoid it. Police officers say security was offered, but the Muslim community took the decision on its to maintain on its own to maintain peace. Many drove to far off places to public offer public prayers to mark the festival. From August 15, only digital payments in panchayats. The government asked panchayats to choose the vendors by July 15 and finalize it by July 30. Congress launching Rahul for the past 20 years. Ashok Gehlot induced two toes, asked to take weeks rest. Uttarakhand does not allow a trade day because our culture is not like that. Exhibition of notes from G20 nations from today. Turkmenistan unveils 5 billion smart city in honor of national leader. Myanmar junta aligned military of depicts to rebels during clashes. Tsipras to step down as leader of Greece opposition party Syria. Key part of controversial judicial reform clause out, says Israeli PM. Unrest spreads in France over police shooting of teen. Will appeal decision against Rwanda police, says Sunak. US top court rules against race based admission in universities. Many US officials argue that giving advantage to one race is unconstitutional. Sri Lankan Central Bank moves recast of pension funds haircut on bonds. AI is a growth opportunity for TCS. The impact of AI and machine learning is going to be profound, says TCS chairman Ann Chandrasekharan. He odds that the global energy transition is accelerating and that businesses are making clear commitments towards a sustainable future. US weekly jobless claims fall. SQ and GDP growth rates are revised to 2%. Aurobindo from harm in Puerto Rico to halt production. PNG, India to invest 2,000 crore to implant in Gujarat for exports. CIL should remind a government entity to retain price stability. ICICI Bank to lead delist broking harm in 5,100 crore share swap. Coromandel lifts stake in drone farm Daksha. US Bank stocks rise after lenders sail through stress. Overseas franchise leagues BCCI to review its policy and participation of retired players. Hockey India hires mental trainer Upton for Men's Asian Champions Trophy. I am excited to contribute to the Indian team's success. Root becomes third player to register a unique hashes double. No wonder I haven't got to know here. Learn on playing 100 consecutive tests. Zimbabwe moves a step closer to 2023 ODI World Cup qualification. Deepika Pallikal behind the Sandhu's 10 top seeds. Ajman and Shapik. Duckett misses century by a whisker, but England keeps pace at Lords. Gangs Masters Grandmaster reclaims the lead. Hundreds from Sindhu and Rana put North Zone in command. Central takes a healthy lead. Rain forces Ali handed to play. Rakib catching the attention with his goal scoring prowess. Nothing appeals more to the Bangladesh forward than going back home and spending time with his parents when the season is over. Abhishek Verma's scintillating form a good omen had a big ticket events. The experience would compound Arch Ahmed with a positive mindset and a new bow set. Secured his third individual gold medal recently in Colombia. There has to be more tournaments for women. Hampi. Barcelona's golden generation. The exists exits up as C. Sergio Busqueta and Jordi Alba from FC Barcelona at the end of the 2022-23 season has meant that only Sergei Roberto remains of the key setup players who dominated Spanish, European, and even world football for more than a decade. Here's a look at the timeline of the Cubs' golden period that resulted in several trophies. The linchpins of the generation at some of performances metrics. Re-evaluating indiscriminate use of BMI to make conclusions on health. BMI clumsily threads the needle between obesity and mortality, mistaking correlation for causation. People who are obese have a high BMI, but it is not necessarily true that a high BMI implies obesity. The paradox is built within the tool. A simple calculation that divides weight in kilograms by the square of height in meters. The harm of BMM is that it may fool people, even physicians, who are not aware of its imperfect nature. Putting minds and finds together to find ways of tackling drug resistance. This Ubli-based startup is no second stranger. Rapture Innovation Labs' first product has received 570 pre-orders from 550 countries. More than 60% of it has been from the US. Bangalore futuristic bus stop seems to promote public transport. The smart bus stop hosts a vertical garden. This that is irrigated with harvested water from the roof. Melkote Naman case writ plea rejected. Halted SWD canal reconstruction results in flooding. Karnataka in focus, the Hajin story of Gwalior Garana. Our music college started in Dharwad, a pioneer in two streams of music. The man who took the institution forward, a vibrant city of music and culture. Humility marks this maestro who turns 70 tomorrow. Pandit Venkatesh Kumar, the Hindustani musician known as much for excellence in art as he is for modesty, he is rooted in Gwalior Gharana but influenced by folk and Natya Sangeet. Gadak's Punyashrama is a center of musical pilgrimage. This unique school has so far trained over 20,000 students, many of them visually or physically challenged. Text and context losses due to internet shutdowns in India internet society. Worth of Chinese Chennai second hyperscale data center amount approved by World Bank to crisis hit Sri Lanka. Minimum price of cigarette lighters allowed for import. Aadhaar based face authentication transactions in May. Exploring Assam's delimitation draft. What is the Election Commission's draft proposal on delimitation? Why are people opposing it? Who is going to get affected by the exercise? Why do some parties want the delimitation done after the National Register of Citizens is updated? Is there a possibility of the proposal being re-drafted? The open market sale scheme for wheat and rice. What is the open market sale scheme and how does it work? Why has the government made changes to the OMSs? Why has the FCI discontinued the sale of grains and the OMSs to states? How have the states reacted? This is the last page. Never shades of cocky in Tamil cinema. Shifting dynamics of the silver screen cop. Watched Vettayadu Vilayadu again on the big screen. Here is how cops in Tamil cinema are finding more dignified writing while also becoming a mirror to examine the fundamentally broken system they are part of. On June 30, 1936, the controversial novel Gone with the Wind was released. It is a quiz of the novel about star-crossed lovers, Southern American survival. This is the last page of the text and context, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed the newspaper reading, and please subscribe the channel, like and comment for more videos related to education and healthcare and personal interviews, so I can bring in the upcoming days. So have a great day. Bye bye. Take care, and see you in the upcoming videos.